Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to be listing my 5 best pattern drafting books for the beginner. Now, these books are particularly good for you if you want to learn pattern drafting from the comfort of your house and you want to learn it at your own pace. There are a lot of courses online that you can actually get to, but some of those courses, you need to pay for them. So for me, it's better you have something that you can refer to if you have any kind of problems as you're learning your pattern drafting. If that is what interests you, then stay tuned while we start with number 1 pattern drafting book that is suitable for a beginner. Now, my number 1 is Winifred Aldrich Metric Pattern Cutting for Women's Wear. I love this book. In fact, I always have it with me most times when I want to teach how you can draft your patterns. It's quite a lot. I think you have close to about 200 and something pages of this book. This metric pattern cutting by Winifred Aldrich. It has a lot, really, but it's really basic. It's not so complicated. It's something that is, she teaches you a lot that has to do how you can create your basic patterns and how you can actually create different kinds of patterns, derive it from these basic patterns. And she gives us a lot of sizes with the measurements and all that for you to be able to, draft patterns, custom patterns. You learn it. There's a lot here. And one good thing about Metric Pattern Cutting for Women's Wear by Winifred. It's that you can use it to learn CAD pattern drafting. In fact, I have a video on how I taught you how to do this manually, but I'm yet to teach how to use it to do a CAD pattern drafting. But I use it to teach myself CAD pattern drafting. I've not done a video on it. I think I'm going to do a video on it using this to, you know, create your basic body block from your shoulder to hips professionally. Professionally. And if you want to do something like that, this is the book for you. Metric Pattern Cutting for Women's Wear. There's a lot here. So much. Look at. It teaches you so much. Sleeves, how to create sleeves professionally, how to create suit sleeves professionally, you know, how to place your two basic bodies together to create your Regan sleeves, how to create your darts, what are darts all about. This is a wonderful book. This is all about different kinds of darts, understanding darts, and the places to place your darts, and how you can adjust these darts to create different styles. So that is it. There's so much to this metric pattern cutting. So go ahead and check it out. You can get it from Amazon if you want. I will put the link down if you're interested in buying it, if you want to learn pattern drafting. For me, this is my number 1, and I always have it with me, whatever I want to do. So you can go ahead and check it out, try your hand, look at different kinds of sleeves, how you can create your different sleeve patterns. Look at it. Very beautiful. And all from your basic sleeve. It shows you a lot. A lot. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and check it out and get it online or from Amazon. So that's my number 1. My number two is Modern Pattern Design by Harriet Pepin. Now, this is one of the oldest books that you can ever think of on pattern drafting. But Harriet, she explains so much about the female figure. She tries to tell you how you can actually create patterns based on a figure. Because everybody have different figures. Everybody has different ways of the way their shoulders slope. Some people have left shoulders sloping more than the right shoulders. Some people, the way they stand and all that affects actually the way you create patterns. And she pays particular attention on how to use that to create different styles. How you can shift that from one position to the other to create fullness, to create styles. So her book is a lot about that shifting to create different styles, how you can manipulate your darts to create beautiful, lovely styles. So this book, this Modern Pattern Design by Harriet Pepin, is also a book you can try your hands on. You can look at it, especially if you want to understand darts. If you want to understand how darts can be used to create different designs, how you can shift a dart from one place and create multiple darts, how you can create fullness in a particular section of the body and all that. See, it's a lot. It's a lot. If you really want to understand that, this is the book. How you can manipulate your darts and create beautiful styles, whatever styles you want to create. And it's really simplified. You go straight to the point, explaining to you how to do this and with pictures to actually illustrate how you can do this very easily. This year I actually learned how to create a cow neck in a very simple way of shifting of that. You know, it's it's a lovely book for the beginner that wants to learn how that work and how you can use your darts to create fantastic and beautiful styles. So that's my number two. Go ahead and check it out. You can also get it on Amazon. My number three is this book by Helen Joseph Armstrong. It's called Pattern Making for Fashion Design. Pattern Making for Fashion Design by Helen Joseph Armstrong. If you want to learn terminologies in pattern drafting, this is the book for you. Everything you need to know about terminologies in pattern drafting, if you want to, you think of working in a fashion industry that are really specializing in making patterns, this is the book for you. She starts the book by talking about all the kinds of tools you probably need for pattern drafting. Everything you need. She explains what it is used for. She talks about understanding measurements in pattern drafting. When you're doing pattern drafting, you have to think of things like 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, things like that. And to somebody that is beginning, it can be a little bit complicated. But this book explains it very easily for you to understand. So if you're having challenges with understanding things like that, she talks about it. She talks about different kinds of pattern papers. She talks about pattern making terminologies, like what is pattern drafting, what is flat pattern making, what is basic pattern sets, you know, what is a muslin, what is a grain line, you know, all the things that you may have been hearing about pattern making and you don't really understand what it means. What are darts? She explains it, everything that has to do with darts. What do you mean by truing a dart? So if you want to learn terminologies, which is very important when you're doing pattern drafting, this is the book for you. So you can learn a lot, especially if you want to get really into the fashion business or the fashion industry. She talks about grading. She teaches you what is grading, how it is done in the fashion industry. She talks about things like digitizer, how to digitize your manual patterns. Incidentally, I have a video where I taught you how you can convert your manual patterns to digital patterns, and I'll link it right up here. And I'll also put the link below this video. You can also check that out. In case you're somebody that doesn't want the stress of learning CAD, you want to continue to do using your doing your patterns manually, but you want to learn how to convert it to digital patterns. So there's a lot here. She talks about body scanning, to get body measurements, different kinds of body scanning equipment. But in our lives today, you have body scanning softwares, ways you can get your body measurements in very few minutes or in seconds. And I have a video also where I introduce you to 9 body scanning softwares that you can actually use to get your measurements. This particular book is also used by Tuka Tech. If you don't know what Tuka Tech is, it's one of the pattern making CAD pattern making softwares online. Tuka Tech uses this in their free CAD pattern drafting course to teach you how to actually use CAD to create basic body blocks. So this book has a lot, as I said. If you notice, all the books I'm introducing to you, they are specified or specific for a particular thing. And if you want to learn pattern drafting, it is good you have an idea of all these things. It's very important. It actually helps you, particularly if you want to really specialize on CAD pattern drafting. So it shows you how to do pattern charts. It's a very important book, honestly. If you want to really make a career in fashion design, you need this book. You need to know how to make design specific sheets like this. So it's very important. So go ahead and check it out and see what you can get from out of it. It has a lot of pages. There's a lot here. There's a lot, you know. There's a lot. It tells you how to adjust the necklines to meet a particular body figure. She really explains the different kinds of body figures here. Spends a lot of time on it, on how you can actually create patterns to fit different body figures. The book is really rich, so it's something you should try and create time to check out. Number 4 is dress pattern designing, the basic principles of cut and fit by Natalie Bray. Now, Natalie Bray is, I think, one of the simplest pattern making books for any beginner to understand because she takes time to explain every section of your pattern drafting. And it is here I actually learned a simpler way to create your basic blocks. A way that you can create your basic blocks the same time. That is, you can create your back and your front the same time. And she doesn't really use a lot of measurements. Most of her measurements, she teaches you how to calculate it, which can be very handy, in fact. Like, look at this particular section where you can create your basic block, your back and front. It's something that I just discovered recently, and I'm going to try my hands on it. And because for me, it's a little bit easier than the other ones I've introduced to you. You can just create a rectangle. She tells you where to draw these lines, and then she's going to show you how to join these lines to actually form the shoulders, and how to draw the curve of the arm and all that. You know, it makes it faster and easier to create your basic blocks, and that is what I just started reading this book, and I'm really really fascinated by it, and I decided to put it as my number 4. It's really quite interesting. It's amazing. I've learned one or two things from it, and I'm sure you can learn 2 things from it. This kind of book is very good if you want to do your CAD pattern drafting because it's easier and faster to be able to use it. And she takes time to explain everything. She explains why you have to remove some inches from here, how to create that fitting, how to derive your that. She really takes time, to explain those things so that you try to understand it better. How to create your curves, where to start the curve from to have a very good back and front curve, things like that. Which for me, it's really important for you when you're learning pattern drafting as a beginner, you know. So try it out. Check out Dress Pattern Designing Basic Principles of Cut and Fit by Natalie Bray. If you come to my website, digitalizedfashiondesign.com, you can actually get this one. All you need is to put in your email and password and you can get it. I think I'll put the link below here to my website. If you're interested in it, you can actually get it. So let's go to the fifth and last one. My last one is Pattern Fitting with Confidence by Nancy Zieman. This woman is amazing. It is This book shows you how to adjust patterns for fitting. The simplest way you can ever adjust your patterns for fitting. This book tells you the measurements to actually use if you want to buy patterns online. Before, we used to think that you can use your bust and your hip to be able to buy the sizes, the particular pattern size that you need. But when I read this book, we discovered that that doesn't really work. And I've discovered it when I used to buy patterns to use, it doesn't really work. So she shows you what kind of measurement you can use to actually determine the pattern size you can buy. This is a book that even if you don't have any other book, you need this book because it gives you a kind of right size measuring um, chart that you can use to actually know the size of patterns to buy if you want to buy ready-made patterns. Because I discovered with ready-made patterns, you can buy a pattern that fits your bust and yet your hips, it doesn't fit it. Or it fits your waist and it doesn't fit your hips. That is why multiple patterns for me are the best patterns to buy if you really want to buy patterns, so you don't want to create it by yourself. And most times when you do buy the patterns, and even when you make patterns by yourself, sometimes it doesn't really fit you as you want it to fit you. So this book shows you how to do adjustments. It shows you how to do basic adjustments of your patterns to fit your measurements, to fit your exact measurements. And it is amazing. I did a video on this, on how to adjust your patterns to actually fit your body figure. I did a video on it and I'm going to paste it right here for you if you're interested in going through that. As I said, this is a very handy book. Very, very handy. Because this is the easiest way for you to adjust any pattern to actually fit you. You must not buy a multiple size pattern because sometimes you can see a nice pattern, a beautiful style, but you buy it and the pattern, it doesn't fit as you want. So she actually shows you how you can adjust these patterns easily to fit you. This is what this book is all about. Basic fitting changes of your patterns and how to do it to fit you. And it's very simple, very straight to the point and all that. And it's not so, it doesn't have so many pages. So it's something you can sit down 2 to 3 days, you finish reading it, and you will learn so much from it when it comes to fitting. I mean, what is a pattern without fitting? Really? What's a pattern without fitting? So she talks about how you can adjust blouses, how you can adjust sleeves, how you can adjust your pants, everything, the different ways you can adjust it to actually fit you. So this is what this book is all about. And this here is my number 5. The fact that it's number 5 doesn't mean that it's a list. I just decided to number them like that because I feel that after you've created patterns or after you buy patterns, you need to have a good fitting. And this is the book for you if you want to learn everything that has to do with pattern adjustment for fitting up. So this book is called Pattern Fitting with Confidence by Nancy Zieman. So that's my number 5 pattern drafting book for the beginner. With that, I've come to the end of this video. I hope you're going to try and pick one or two of those books, especially if you really, really want to learn pattern drafting online. Those are the books that has helped me so much in drafting patterns. And if you want to really, you know, get into fashion design full time, you need those books. They will go a long way to actually help you understand basic and advanced pattern drafting. Thank you so much for watching. Till my next time. See you in my next video.